taking refuge from another angry mob in the crypt. How many angry mobs can one town have?
Like, all right, guys, something good's got to come out of this one. I'm running out of pitchfork money.
Angry Mob Alpha, you're on the right. Alpha Mob Blue, you're on the left. Alpha Mob Gold, you're with me. We're going to take this town 3 ways Sunday. We're going to get this monster. We're going to kick his ass, all right? Go, 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 go.
It's like, call team rules. And it's just like shotgunning a beer. Like, let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Shadows and Sightings, a paranormal comedy podcast where we talk about all things spooky. I'm Taylor.
I'm Nick.
And it's alive!
Kind of, sort of. I guess, depending on the version that you
prefer.
look into.
Of course, we're talking about Frankenstein today. We talked about Dracula last week. We figured, why not do his counterpart in the Universal monster movie, Big 2, Big 3, whatever you want to call it, like OGs of horror.
So Dracula, Frankenstein,
Wolfman,
Invisible Man, and then I guess the Mummy.
The Mummy, yeah,
is one.
Those are like the originals.
Yeah.
Then you had like the Creature, the Black Lagoon come along, and some other ones.
Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind the most when I think of like the classic, iconic.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because it was this phase of classic monsters like that, but then around the same time, the 30s, the 40s, going into the 50s, we kind of started delving into like the sci-fi era.
Yep.
With who was the dude? Not Space Rogers. Was that his name? That was his name, right?
Space Rogers.
No, it wasn't Space Rogers. There was I can't remember. There was some iconic like
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Space Rogers. His generic Temu Shin cousin. Yeah. Right. Wish.com. Flash Gordon. So yeah, Flash Gordon becomes a huge thing.
Whatever that you call Sheen or Shin.
It's Shin.
I thought it was Sheen.
I thought it was Shin.
Oh, Sheen. A Shin is a body part.
It is, but I thought it was
That's not how you spell it.
Well, no. I mean, it's it's a yucca's spelled yucca, but it's yucca. But if you're American, it's yucca. I don't know.
All right. I mean,
Sheen.
Tomatoes.
Anyways. Like, they got great stuff on Shin or Shine. Find cool things.
Yeah, sometimes.
I got credit card covers that say this motherfucking going to decline. And it looks like the iconic 90s Microsoft like little window.
Yeah.
The gray with like it's like that.
Ding.
Yeah. Like the little pop-up thing. Yeah. I can't wait to actually put it on my cards.
I seen one. It was Yu-Gi-Oh. It was like a Yu-Gi-Oh.
The card, like the back of the card.
Yeah. And the front. They had like front ones too. They were like holographic.
Ooh.
I was like, let me send a bitch to the Shadow Realm with my debit card real quick. And that's myself. I'm sending myself to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. I want one that with the meme I sent you the other day. Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
You sure? I want that, like a picture of him when
Every time you pull that card out.
Yeah, yeah. Just like, are you sure about that? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, 50s we were moving into like that sci-fi era too. So it was just a great time for movies and comics and media. Oh, 50s. What a time to be alive.
We guess.
Yeah,
for me,
because I wasn't there. I don't know.
For me, it would have been a great time to be alive.
Yeah, I guess it would have been kind of questionable for me. Depending on where I live in the country at the time, I guess. But
yeah, very true.
It'd been great. It'd been cool. But yeah, Frankenstein. Frankenstein. What do you think of when you think of Frankenstein? Like, what's the first image? I know we talked about last week Dracula. Like, what's the first image of Dracula? What's the first image of Frankenstein?
For me, it is absolutely the Boris Karloff green monster with like the rectangular shaped head with like the bolts in his neck and the crazy hairline that comes down to like his eyebrows.
Yeah.
Tattered clothes, just walking around in that classic zombie like arms outstretched, lumbering kind of walk.
Yeah.
And specifically, I remember this because, as I mentioned in the last episodes, when the Universal Monsters kind of had their 90s revival going on.
Yeah.
My favorite driver for NASCAR, Terry Labonte, had a spooky Fruit Loops race car. And on the cover of the hood was Frankenstein with the box of Fruit Loops. So that's what I think of.
Gotcha. I think of the iconic with the monsters.
Oh, Herman Munster?
Yeah, I think that's like the
it's
one.
It's pretty much the same
thing. The same thing. Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind. If it's not him, it's the berry cereal.
Frankenberry.
Frankenberry. Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind.
I also think of Salem Frankenstein, the guy that's, I don't know if you've seen him when we were back up there, but it's a guy who literally is dressed as the classic Frankenstein. He's got like a huge setup. He goes out on the street on Essex Street. He's one of the buskers there. Has like a fog machine in it, and he looks like he's on like the operating table. And his costume's like legit. Like he's the dude.
Like he's the scientist.
No, he's the monster.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have specified.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so that's a different take, I guess. So he's like on the surgical table.
Well, it's like, it's kind of like, think of Darth Vader coming off of the table.
Yeah,
in episode 3, it's like that.
It's the iconic "he's alive"
like he's coming alive
moment. Yeah,
he's standing straight up, and he's like coming off of the table.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But he looks like a classic like Karloff version.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's in character all day. He doesn't like say a word. All he does is moan and grumble at you. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
That's cool. He's just one of those monsters where I don't understand. Like Dracula, I get the hype when he kind of came onto the scene. I don't get the hype behind Frankenstein.
Frankenstein doesn't do it for you? Like in a horror way, or just like in a general sense?
Maybe like a horror kind of way.
He's not scary.
He's not. He isn't. But
we're also not designed to be afraid of him by modern standards. Back in the 30s, they were just like, that was a scary thing to them.
Well, further than that, like the story came out in like 1818.
Right.
Like the novel. So this is like Victorian era, I guess.
The height of Gothic
horror.
Gothic
horror, yeah. So,
and to be fair, though, the novel is so much darker and so much scarier than the movies.
Yeah, like the version that you're thinking of, like the iconic, what we think of when we think of Frankenstein, is nothing compared to like the version in the book. Like in the version
further from.
Yeah, he's very like mild.
Yeah, there are some similarities, but I mean, it's like a 10%.
Yeah, he's pretty grotesque. The way to describe him in the story, he's like an actual monstrosity.
Oh, for sure. You said you had a cryptid thing you wanted to talk about before we started recording.
Oh shit! Yeah, I completely forgot.
So what was your story this week?
Yeah,
like?
so I was looking through the news the other day, and I get a notification that apparently, and I looked into this because I was like, "What? That's fucking wild." But the news article was like, there are official CIA documents that cite in the early 90s there was a group of soldiers that shot down a UFO in Russia. And of course, upon crashing, there was like a bright blip, a bright flash, and that flash essentially turned a lot of those soldiers into stone.
The Medusa effect.
Basically. And the reason why, and for, lack of a better term, we're just going to call them the scientists that, responded to the scene, the KGB apparently showed up, and they ran test samples on the soldier's skin, and they found that it was identical to limestone. So they're like, oh, they were turned to stone. So I did some digging. I was like, okay, well, what in the actual fuck is this? I looked into it, and apparently the CIA never actually published that document. The original story claims that after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the CIA acquired a 250-page KGB report about an incident in Siberia or Ukraine, and it kind of like it differs from report to report. But during a training exercise, Soviet soldiers supposedly shot down a UFO. According to 2 surviving soldiers, 5 humanoid creatures emerged from the wreckage, merged into a single sphere of bright light, and then exploded. The blast allegedly turned 23 soldiers into stone poles. The 2 survivors were supposedly in a shaded area and partially protected as to why they survived. The KGB report purportedly claimed that the soldiers' living tissue was instantly transformed into a substance with the molecular structure of limestone. That's what it was. Of course, the CIA does not confirm the story. The CIA document is simply a reprinting of the Ukrainian news story or the Siberian news story, and it's not an actual report by the CIA itself. A former CIA agent confirmed that the agency did not originate the document and that it came from the Foreign Broadcast Information Service, which is an open source intelligence service. The CIA's online archive contains numerous UFO-related files that document both real investigations and reports from other public sources, like foreign newspapers. And of course, the credibility of the original sources of this. The source of the story was a Ukrainian newspaper story that was reportedly the Canadian Weekly World News, which was, it's kind of like the sensational tabloids,
right?
Like the bullshit. Basically, it's like another version of that. The sensational nature of the story, combined with the unreliability of its stated source, cast serious doubt on the entire account. So, in all likelihood, it's basically just like a bullshit fluff story. But it was enough to make the news. Somebody probably read it and was like, what the actual fuck is this? Right. And I thought that was pretty funny when I looked at it. I was like, what? That's wild.
That's good shit.
Yeah. That's my cryptid alien spooky story for the week.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, no, Frankenstein. Let's get into it.
Sure. Well, we can start with how Shelley described the Frankenstein monster. If you're going to put an image of your brain out of what we traditionally think of when we think of what Frankenstein's monster looks like, Shelley described Frankenstein monster as an 8-foot-tall creature of hideous contrasts. His limbs were in proportion, and I had selected his features as beautiful. Great God, his yellow skin scarcely covered the work of muscles and arteries beneath. His hair was of lustrous black and flowing. His teeth of a pearly whiteness, but these luxuriances were only formed a more horrid contrast with his watery eyes that seemed almost of the same color as the dun white sockets in which they were set. Shriveled complexion and straight black lips. So that's a quote from Shelley's book about what she envisioned Frankenstein is looking.
And I read that
no green
quote.
Skin, no bolts in his neck.
Yeah, nothing like that. And I wonder if at the time, I'm sure it did, the context of that quote would have made sense to somebody back then reading that and be like, oh my God, this is hideous.
This is horrid.
This is terrible. Look at him with his pearly white teeth and his
luxuriously flowing black hair.
Flowing black hair. Disgusting.
Well, that's the point. Right? I know. It's all of hideous contrast is what she's saying.
Yeah.
His skin and his eyes don't match how beautiful his teeth and his hair are. His skin's terribly yellow and it barely covers his arteries. But otherwise, his teeth are perfect and his hair's perfect. So there's some humanity there where he could be, in some instances, be described as beautiful.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's just a dumpster fire.
It really is. He really is a dumpster fire. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. It's just
fire bad.
Yeah.
Fire bad.
So let's talk about Shelley for a second.
Sure.
Where it came from.
Real life, right?
Yeah.
Mary Shelley is the Frankenstein to Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster. She is the creator.
She's the creator. So Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley.
Such a prominent name.
Right? Born on the 30th of August, 1797, and passed away in February 1st of 1851. Was an English novelist who wrote the Gothic novel Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, which came out in 1818. It's considered a novel of horror, but also dabbles in early science fiction.
I was going to say, that's like the creation almost of science fiction as we know it.
I love how I was reading the plot. You could tell this was early science fiction because I think in the story, the plot for Dr. Frankenstein, it's literally just, he learned how to resurrect a monster through science. It's pretty vague.
No details.
It's just he discovered a new way through the scientific method or something to preserve.
Well, I think she from what I understood, there was a lot of experiments going on in the time with electricity reanimating.
Yeah.
Things like frog legs.
The frog leg thing, yeah.
So that's but clearly she had no idea how any of that worked.
No, yeah.
And how could you blame her? It's the late 1700s.
Yeah, exactly. It's
not to mention she is a woman.
Back then, that's true.
The fact she was allowed to write a novel is
Yeah.
She didn't credit her name to this novel until republications years later.
Which is so sad because like, it became like such a cult classic.
Well, she at least got to see her name put on it before she died. As far as I know. It's crazier to think that she had to take her name off of it because nobody would have ever read this book probably otherwise if they had known a woman.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that, just like the time frame of it.
So the story comes about because her and her husband, right? They're on a...
It was her husband, and I think a couple of friends. Mm-hmm. And they were like on like vacation somewhere. They were visiting like a lake or something or a cabin. And they essentially decide they throw like a little contest. They're like, who can write the scariest ghost story? Mm-hmm. And within that time frame where she was up at that cabin with them, that night, like they
present their stories.
Yeah. And Frankenstein.
And everybody's like, holy shit.
It was like, oh my gosh. And it was like Frankenstein was born.
Yeah. And they're like, you need to make this a novel.
Yeah. In 1816, Mary's stepsister famously spent a summer with Lord Byron and John William Polidori near Geneva, Switzerland, where Shelley conceived the idea for her novel Frankenstein. The Shelleys left Britain in 1818 for Italy, where their second and third children died before Shelley gave birth to her last and only surviving child. Yeah, there's a lot of, if you read into like her background, it's like, it's pretty depressing.
It's very much based in some reality in her life.
Yeah, like it's very dark, like some of the events. So
the loss of life and wanting to probably bring life back into her own life and the struggles with depression and despair and loneliness.
Yeah, it could have been that the Frankenstein is kind of metaphorical for her trying to cope with like the loss that she had. So she lost a couple of her kids. In 1822, her husband drowned when his sailboat sank during a storm near Viareggio. His ship sank. A year later, Shelley returned to England, and then from then on devoted herself to raising her son and her career as a professional author. The last decade of her life was dodged by illness, most likely caused by the brain tumor, which killed her at the age of 53.
Not to mention, she married the author after they had had an affair, in which the previous girlfriend or wife of the guy she ended up marrying, she found out and killed herself.
Yep, it's just the
dealing with that. I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Oh yeah, just the grief, just the guilt. Getting slammed in the back of a horse and carriage while you're thinking of
in the back of a Dracula.
Yeah, the Dracula, just all the lives that you're ruining. Yeah, that would do it too. Yeah, the depression, the guilt would be real heavy.
But in the end, she came away with a monster and a story that has transcended time and space.
Oh, she came all right. Until the 1970s,
which begs the question: did they build a functioning penis into the Frankenstein's monster?
I don't know. It doesn't. I didn't see anything about the reproductive. I'm just gonna say maybe because Frankenstein has this idea he wants a bride. So he has emotional feelings and maybe urges as well.
I think he's more just he doesn't want to be alone, so he wants something to confide in.
Sure.
I think it's more of an emotional thing and less of a sexual thing.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? Frankenstein just lopping off one of the... He's like, look at this dick.
It certainly wasn't gorgeous. Certainly wasn't that way in Creature Commandos. Yeah. So it's possible. I mean, the Frankenstein in Van Helsing...
Yeah.
It makes no mention of a bride or anything like that. He's kind of more of a... He
just wants companionship.
I think he just wants people to kind of accept him, which I love that version of him. It was cool. I always thought the cool was his brain.
Yeah, it was
the glass.
It was one of those plasma balls.
Yeah, and but doesn't it come apart at one point in the movie?
Yeah, his whole face kind of pops out and he pushes it back in together.
Is that what it was? Yeah, and then, that I kind of felt bad for that version. They really played. Yeah,
he's very sympathetic.
Yeah, they played to he's actually not a monster. He's just. He understands.
Yeah, he mourned the loss of his creator.
Yeah.
Which we can get back to the original story.
Yeah.
Because the adaptations going forward from the novel, again, are vastly different than what was originally intended. So we don't have to go through the entire plot of the novel of Frankenstein, but basically the premise is that Frankenstein creates the monster. Mm-hmm. The monster pretty much, once he sees what he's done, Dr. Frankenstein abandons him and just, lets him go into the world. Frankenstein's monster finds a family that he kind of like camps out with, quote unquote. They don't have any idea he's there.
Well, I thought it was they were blind.
Not all of them.
No, okay.
So he's like living in their shed or some shit. He starts to pick up like human emotions. He learns how to talk. The one girl's from like Austria, I think. So she like, it's a kind of like a foreign exchange student kind of gimmick.
Sure. Okay.
She comes to learn with this family how to talk and speak proper English. So unbeknown to the family, they're also giving the monster English lessons too.
Yeah.
He's reading like, oh, when somebody's mad, like he goes in and eats all their food. And he doesn't realize, because he doesn't know any better yet, that made them sad. So the next day he goes out and kills a bunch of animals and brings them back to the house and leaves them there for them to take the meat off or whatever. Ugh. And that makes them happy. And then, so he just kind of picks up on social cues until I guess one day the father or the grandfather comes and he's blind. So he actually goes to talk to him about all the things, how he wants to be friends with the family. And he tells the grandfather, like, oh, your family's the one that I want to love and be a part of, but they don't know about me and this and that. And that's when they come home
and they see him. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And on the sight of him, they like chase him off. He runs up back into the woods. He comes back the next day or the day after, and the family's packing all their stuff up and leaving because
there's a fucking monster.
Right.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah, pretty much. And upon seeing the family leaving, Frankenstein's like, well, that's fucking it, dude. So he burns the house down, and he's like, this is the last remnants of a life that I could have had or something.
Yeah.
He then travels, finds, as we were talking before we started recording, he finds a girl, saves a girl from drowning. And when the girl wakes up or comes through, she like sees this fucking monster's carrying her to shore or to safety and starts screaming and like trying to beat on him to get away. And then the father sees him and shoots him.
Yeah.
So then does he murder the guy?
I think he murders the dad.
He murders him.
I think he kills the.
And he like delights in the fact that he took a life, because he's like, I can also destroy the things that other people can do. Like that makes me more human.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. But then, long story short, he flees. He's like trying to fit into a society that does not want him. And then his like goal essentially is to reunite with Dr. Frankenstein.
I think all the rejection, everything, he eventually cracks.
Right.
Like, has like a mental breakdown, and essentially is like, okay, you know what? I'm going to kill my creator, essentially for bringing me into this world and like abandoning me, kind of thing. Like, isn't that what it is? He kind of just like has this mental break. And
he has a mental breakdown, but it's not because he wants to kill his creator. He wants to meet his creator, and he wants to have him explain to him why he did what he did. Like, why did you make me? And then, so he reunites with Dr. Frankenstein. Basically, the transaction that happens between them is he's pretty much like, well, if you're not going to explain to me why you made me, then make me a bride so that I can, find some solace in being the only person here. And if you do this for me, you'll never see me again. We'll go into the jungles of South America, this and that and the other. So Dr. Frankenstein agrees to helping him and creating him a bride. So he tells his best friend Henry and his future wife, Elizabeth, and his rest of his family, essentially like, hey, I'm going to go back to college to finish my studies, and then I'll marry Elizabeth, and then, this and that. Secretly knowing that he's going to go back to this college to use the resources to take them to an island to create the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, okay.
So then once he gets to the island, he starts working. He's like, I can't do this. This is too fucked up. Like, I cannot do this again. And Frankenstein's monster is like, no, you're going to fucking do this. And Dr. Frankenstein basically is like, well, you can just go ahead and kill me because I'm not going to do it. And the monster was like, no, I'm not going to kill you.
But you'll see me
on your
wedding or whatever, yeah.
So the doctor goes back to the main shore, finds out that Henry, his best friend, has been strangled by the hands of the Frankenstein monster. He pretty much gets pinned for the murder with that, but they let him off because of the way he reacted to seeing the body of Henry.
Yeah.
And then years later, marries Elizabeth, and on their honeymoon, he takes them to an island that he seems to think was defensible against the monster. Come to find out that he's like, okay, well, Elizabeth, you go to the bedroom. I'm going to check the doors, check the hallways. He's got like the gun, and he's like, I'm just going to check around, make sure everything's good.
No. What are you looking for? Oh, no. Rats. It's huge.
Flying monkeys.
Huge rats.
Really, really bad.
What kind of rats? The kind that needs a bullet.
So, yeah. And then he hears, of course, a scream from the bedroom, runs to the bedroom, only to find out that Frankenstein's monster has already killed his wife, Elizabeth, and he's like outside the window laughing at him. The monster's outside like laughing, flipping him off, giving him the DX suck it. Suck it, nerd.
I told you, bitch.
So basically the monster, and it's kind of, I guess, Shelley's metaphor for how a human, which one's really the monster? You know, was it the thing that he created, or is it himself after all this loss and tragedy has happened to him? He starts to like
stoop to his stoop to his level, but like the rage. So
and the monster's whole thing was pretty much like, if you're not going to make me a companion, I'm going to take everything away from you, and now you will be with me in this eternal loneliness that I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then from what I think I remembered, Frankenstein's monster leaves to go to like the North Pole. Frankenstein pretty much chases him across the globe to try to catch up with him to kill him.
Yep.
Finally dies along the way, and Frankenstein's monster realizes like, shit, like that's not what I wanted.
This wasn't worth it.
Yeah, none of this was worth it. And then he throws himself on a funeral pyre and destroys himself.
Yep.
So that's pretty much the story.
The story in a nutshell. Pretty much, yeah. A lot of illustrations, a lot of metaphors, a lot of just themes, like just depression, grief, despair, rage,
loneliness. I think is the key, because without loneliness, none of this happened.
Yeah, the lack of acceptance that he has, the yearning to be a part of something. Companionship is a huge driving factor or a huge theme in the story.
And the fact that, again, Monster is only looking for acceptance, and because of the way he looks, nobody is willing to accept him. He could do as much good as he possibly can think of. He even crawls back on his hands and knees to like beg for forgiveness from the family initially, hoping that they'll be like, okay, maybe we were too harsh at first when we seen you. None of that shit works.
Get your bitch ass off my yacht.
Get your off yellow ass
right
with your exposed arteries off my lawn.
Got nice teeth though, but get off my fucking lawn. Yeah. So, no, I mean, it's in reading the plot, I never knew all of that extra stuff. I always thought it was just this like crazy scientist creates this monster,
just makes a murder machine. That's how I always thought.
I thought it was, and then like the town. So where does that come into play? The whole, remember, like, it wasn't there like a thing where the town like revolts against them and they try to kill them?
Yes.
So that
spawns in the movies. That comes from the movies.
Okay, all right, that makes sense then. Because that was always the version that I had. He creates this monster, and then Dr. Frankenstein, of course, sympathizes with Frankenstein the monster because he kind of sees him as his kid.
Right.
It's his creation. And he tries to defend him, from like the villagers and all that.
Yeah, you are pretty much thinking the exact plot of the opening of Van Helsing.
Yeah, basically.
So I think that's where you're getting that image in your head.
That subliminal, the subconscious planted, yeah. And then he gets killed, right? In that version, like, doesn't he get murdered? The dad, they kill the doctor. They kill the doctor, right?
In Van Helsing version, yes, they do.
Yeah, they kill the doctor, and yeah. So yeah, I never knew that it expanded. Like the I was reading the plot, and I was like, wait, this is what Frankenstein's about? Like,
it's
I had
like a globe-trotting escapade.
Yeah, I was like, this man is like chasing him around the globe.
Right.
And that's what I was talking about with Creature Commandos earlier. It's in that version of it, Frankenstein he really is a monster in all ways possible.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like a child in that version, where he throws these like temper tantrums. So he'll ask Dr. Frankenstein for something. Like in this case, he asked him for the bride. And at first, Dr. Frankenstein's like, no. And then he throws like a little temper tantrum. No, I want a bride. You have to give me what I want. Like he starts like acting like a toddler. And then, which
Frankenstein's monster pretty much is.
He's very immature, like mentally like immature. So of course he creates the bride, but then he starts developing like feelings for the bride. Like he's like showing her the ways of the world, teaching her how to speak, math, science, and all that, how to read. All the meanwhile, Frankenstein's in the background, like, all right, waiting on my wife.
When do I get a chance?
When do I get a chance to, and
I would like to touch her now, please.
Yeah, pretty much. And
yeah, monster, you're gonna get your chance. I'm just gonna take her in this back room here real quick.
Basically, yeah, pretty much. And then
you hear a commotion, don't you come knocking.
Yeah, and then they start like being a thing together, and Frankenstein just like snaps and kills Dr. Frankenstein by that point, though, the bride, she's already like well educated. She's like, can fend for herself. Essentially, spends like the next 200 years running away from Frankenstein the monster, and just throughout all the periods in like history. Like I said, she was like a flapper at one point. I think she was like in the Revolutionary War, like the Civil War or something like that, right, fighting against them, and they're like World War One or World War Two, like trench warfare.
It's like a Wolverine origins.
Basically the whole thing. There's like all the major prominent times in history. Like she's a part of it, he's a part of it, and she's just like running away from him like throughout the decades.
Right.
I think she's like a hippie, like Woodstock at one point or whatever. And they're like fighting on top of like a bus. It's pretty neat. But yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Like the seeing like the actual plot of the story, would have never guessed in a million years.
Compare that in contrast to what you were thinking of, probably at least a little bit when we get to the golden age of Frankenstein, more or less the 1930s, when the 1931 Boris Karloff movie comes out called Frankenstein, where they really stripped away almost every aspect of what made the novel what it was. They even went as far as changing Dr. Frankenstein's name from Victor to Henry, because they thought that Victor was a little too harsh. So they gave the name Victor to the jealous, like, lover. Essentially, that movie, they create life, and the whole dynamic of the movie isn't so much of, despair and loneliness, and it's more of the doctor created life, but should he have? Is he now playing the role of a god when in a time that was so frowned upon? Like that was the horror of it, I think, in the 30s. Somebody playing God when there was only supposed to be one. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like creating life like that. And I mean that makes sense, I guess, in like the 1930s version of it. I also do think it kind of comes back to what you were talking about earlier, where Gothic era, Victorian era, that's when like the scientific method really starts to kick off. And it's, like you said, it's like playing God, but humans now are essentially what are we capable of doing?
Right.
It's like that theme of, okay, now we're at a place where we can use science to, which kind of plays into like the actual original term, the title of like the book as well. So Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus.
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool. Like, it's kind of annoying that they like leave that part out. And like I was like, oh no, come on! Like, give me a modern movie called The Modern Prometheus, and it's just like a modern version of Frankenstein.
I'm surprised the new Netflix movie didn't.
Isn't called that? Yeah, like. But for those of you who aren't familiar, like Prometheus, that was the god that gave humans the fire, gave fire to humans, and essentially, I think he even like made humans.
Okay.
Like maybe he made him out of clay, gave them fire, tools, or but then of course Zeus finds out, gets pissed, and then straps him to like a rock, and the fucking eagle like just eats his like innards out, and then it regrows back each day, and then
good old Greek mythology.
Yeah. But essentially, yeah, it's like playing God, like in that rendition of it, humans were never meant to like have like fire, but then of course Prometheus gives them aid, and now they have the ability to like, play God, essentially. They can. I never understood the bolts.
I think it was just a appliance to give you the sense that this person or this thing was literally stitched together. Moving on to the 1931 movie, that is. That's what I think it is. I think they just wanted to make it really a point that this was a creature that, while human in form, had lost all its humanity, because seeing bolts come out of somebody's neck is not something I think anybody would really want to see.
Yeah, like so many questions.
Like, it's just not natural. Like, again, I think it was just to really put together, this thing was just created. It was created. It was like just stitched together using whatever they had.
Which kind of makes sense coming from, like, have you ever heard of the Frankenstein complex?
No.
So, like, in the Frankenstein complex is a term that was coined by Isaac Asimov in his robot series, referring to the fear of mechanical men.
Okay.
So when you hear the term like Frankenstein complex, it's like this idea that we inherently have this like fear of, robots, mechanical like entities, which makes sense because, like anything else, we don't really know until we actually like dive into something. Like we were talking about AI or whatever, and like how that's like been like a
that's like the new Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It's going to be awesome. Like it's done wonders, but it's also going to be a freaking shit show.
It's going to be used for evil.
Oh my god, it's going to get so bad. But like it's a bittersweet because on one hand, look, the internet was like it's been a great tool, but it's also caused a lot of damage. So it's like the Frankenstein complex is kind of like that same thing where it's fear of mechanical men. I think it's more just more broadly fear of the unknown kind of thing.
Right. All right. You want to talk the movie a little bit?
I haven't seen the movie.
You've never seen the movie?
You're talking about the 1930
The 1931 movie, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Really? Mm-hmm. It's only 70 minutes long. It's very digestible.
Yeah. Okay. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you like it? If you were to give it a Rotten Tomatoes rating, what would you rate it?
I would probably give it like a 65%. Only because it's a hard grade to give because obviously it's a 1930s movie and it's like it's like one of those grandfather movies of horror and science fiction. The acting is very, like Boris Karloff just is like great as Frankenstein's monster. I mean, it is what it is. It's just one of those movies that once you see it, like, am I going to go back and watch it a bunch more times? No, I don't think I will. But like for the time, like if it was me grading it in 1931, I'd be like, this is like a 98% for sure. This is a damn near a perfect movie.
All right, so like the time factor kind of comes into
it. Yeah, I mean, like it's just dated. I mean, those movies are kind of timeless, but I mean, it's dated in some ways.
Okay,
but yeah, the whole premise is basically that Frankenstein creates the monster, knows what it feels like to be God. They try to teach the monster how to live and act in a normal society, but they don't understand what they've created. So as time progresses, like specifically in one scene, they open like a window and the sun comes in and like makes him like reach his hands up to like shield his eyes because he doesn't know what it is. And Dr. Frankenstein Henry and his assistant Fritz think that he's like going to attack them. So they chain him up in a dungeon where Fritz just kind of tortures him endlessly all the time. So they like right off the jump, that never would have happened. The whole course would have been different, but it kind of is one of those nurture or nature kind of situations where was the monster created naturally evil, or did he become that way through his upbringing? And in this particular case, it was definitely nurture.
Yeah.
Like being locked in a dungeon. So he grows to resent the creator and Fritz, and eventually he escapes and tries to fit into society. Pretty much like that's the one thing that they kept from the novel, where he finds a girl and the girl's like kind of a friend to him, and he ends up accidentally throwing her into a lake where she drowns. If like watching that scene back, it's like a horrific scene, but it's fucking hilarious. It's really funny.
How does he accidentally throw her into the lake?
Because she's like throwing rocks into the lake and like skipping stones and stuff and like having fun.
He just picks her up and eats her.
He just picks her up and eats her. Oh yeah, pretty much. And she can't swim.
He's like clapping.
He has no idea. Yeah, he's like clapping. I did it. Yeah. And then like she doesn't come back up. He's like
the bubble stop.
Uh-oh. Huh. And then he like freaks out and runs to the town to like warn them, and that's when they find the girl's dead body and him and like, yeah.
Like, what did you do? Yeah, what did you do?
So that's when the villagers create a lynch mob to capture him, and then they pretty much go back to the castle. So Henry, the creator, is attacked by the monster. The monster knocks Henry unconscious and carries him to an old windmill. The peasants hear the creature carrying Henry and find it climbing to the top, dragging Henry with it. The monster then hurls the scientist to the ground. His fall is broken by the wooden blades of the windmill, which, when you watch the movie, seeing that scene, it says that it saves his life by the blades breaking his fall. That motherfucker gets yeeted off of this windmill, ragdolls into the windmill blades, and like just like think of Saruman on like the little wooden spike thing or the metal spike. It's like that. He just like slides off the side. It's like that motherfucker dead. Some of the villagers bring him home while the rest of the mob set the windmill ablaze with the monster trapped inside. Castle Frankenstein, Henry's father celebrates the wedding of his recovered son with a toast to a future grandchild. So the movie ends with a happy quote-unquote ending and the alleged death of the monster.
I like the book version more. Yeah. I like the book version more because it... Now I have to read the book and I have to like watch the movie.
You have to watch the movie.
Just to compare it.
Yeah.
But based off of the two summarized plots that you provided, I would say the book definitely would be more intriguing than the film itself.
Well, yeah. I mean, then you carry on with The Bride of Frankenstein, which is argued as the best Universal monster movie. That I actually haven't seen the whole way through.
Is it okay? So both are in the MonsterVerse. Is it considered like a direct sequel?
It is a direct sequel
to the film. Okay,
yep.
Okay. So I guess in this version, so he's actually not dead. He doesn't die.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
And this is like he wants a bride, and then when, long story short, the bride rejects him after she has been created. That's when he's like, I'd rather just be dead. Like, I don't want to live anymore because even a dead thing that's supposed to be made for me doesn't like me.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
And it makes him really sympathetic. It makes him more of a sad story instead of a murder machine.
Well, wait, how do they explain like that he survived and like the mob hasn't? Is he just like living in isolation somewhere after that whole escapade of the mob trying to capture him and murder him for the death of that girl?
All right, here we go. So Hans, the father of the girl that the creature drowned, wants to see the monster's bones. He falls into a flooded pit underneath the mill where the monster, having survived the fire, strangles him. Hauling himself from the pit, the monster casts Hans' wife to her death. He next encounters Frankenstein's servant Minnie, who flees in terror. So basically, he survives the windmill fall by being in a flooded pit.
Like a muddied pit, okay.
Underneath, where then he kills the daughters that he accidentally killed in the first one's dad.
Yeah.
The body of Henry Frankenstein, who was thought to have died at the windmill, is returned to his fiancée Elizabeth at his castle home. Minnie arrives to the sound of the alarm about the monster, but her warning goes unheeded. Elizabeth, seeing Henry move, realizes he is still alive. Nursed back to health by Elizabeth, Henry has renounced his creation, but still believes he may be destined to unlock the secret of life and immortality. Hysterical Elizabeth cries that she foresees death.
It's like, didn't you learn your lesson the first time? It's like people who are like professional surfers and they get their arm bitten off by a shark. And then they get back in the water. It's like, you got your arm bitten off by a shark.
Yeah, well, what's the likelihood that's going to happen again, bro?
Didn't you learn the first time?
If I get back out there now, the waves didn't win, man. The shark didn't win.
It's like, oh my God.
So Henry visits the lab of his former mentor. Are you ready for this name? Dr. Septimus Pretorius. Where Pretorius shows Henry several homunculi that he has created. Pretorius wishes to work with Henry to create a mate for the monster, with the proposed venture involving Pretorius growing an artificial brain while Henry gathers parts for the mate.
That guy sounds like a prick.
The monster saves a young shepherdess from drowning. Her screams upon seeing the monster alert two hunters who shoot and injure him. So, kind of like the book. Mm-hmm. Kind of given that little nod there. The hunters raise a mob that sets out in pursuit. Captured and trussed to a pole, the monster is hauled to a dungeon and chained. Left alone, he breaks his chains, overpowers the guards, and escapes into the woods. So I did see this in a scene. The part where they capture and truss him to a pole is basically a metaphor. It's very like Christ-like. Like they're comparing him to Christ being crucified on the cross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the term is.
Allegory? No.
Maybe.
Metaphor.
That night, the monster encounters an old blind hermit who thanks God for sending him a friend. He teaches the monster words like friend and good, and shares a meal with him. The two lost hunters stumble upon the cottage and recognize the monster. He attacks them and accidentally burns down the cottage as the hunters lead the hermit away. So basically he makes a friend and then they burn the cottage down and now he doesn't have a friend anymore. Taking refuge from another angry mob in the crypt. How many angry mobs can one town have?
Like, all right, guys, something good's got to come out of this one. I'm running out of pitchfork money.
Angry Mob Alpha, you're on the right. Alpha Mob Blue, you're on the left. Alpha Mob Gold, you're with me. We're going to take this town 3 ways Sunday. We're going to get this monster. We're going to kick his ass, all right? Go, 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 go.
It's like, call team rolls. And just like shotgunning a beer. Let's do it.
The monster spies Pretorius and his cronies Carl and Ludwig breaking open a grave. The henchmen depart as Pretorius has supper. The monster reveals himself, eats some of the food, and learns that Pretorius plans to create a mate for him. Henry and Elizabeth, now married, are visited by Pretorius. Henry expresses his refusal to assist him, who calls the monster. The monster then demands Henry's help, but to no avail. Pretorius orders the monster out, secretly signaling him to kidnap Elizabeth. Pretorius guarantees her safe return upon Henry's participation. Henry returns to his Howard laboratory and, despite himself, grows excited over his work. After being assured of Elizabeth's safety, Henry completes the bride's body. A storm rages as the final preparations are made to bring the bride to life, and her bandage-wrapped body is raised through the roof. Ooh, 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 ooh. Raise the roof, baby, where electricity is harnessed from the lightning to animate her.
To the what? The flux capacitor?
The electricity was harnessed to reanimate her body.
Gotcha.
Or animate her body. Henry and Pretorius lower her, and after realizing their success in bringing her to life, remove her bandages and help her to stand. The monster comes down the steps after killing Carl on the rooftop and sees his mate. Well, who the fuck was Carl? I forget who Carl was.
Carl's just, we're going to just call him random guard number 2.
The monster reaches out to her and asks, "Friend?" The bride, screaming, rejects him. He observes, "She hate me, like others." As Elizabeth races to Henry's side, the monster rampages through the lab. Before destroying everything, the monster pauses and tells Henry and Elizabeth, "Go, you live." To Pretorius and the bride, he says, "You stay, we belong dead." While Henry and Elizabeth flee, the bride hisses at the monster. Shedding a tear, the monster pulls a lever to trigger the laboratory and tower's destruction. The end.
That was depressing.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And that's why that sequel is regarded as a better movie.
That's cool, because, I mean, it's like the first... In the MonsterVerse, there's no other sequels, right? Like, Dracula didn't have a sequel.
Yeah, I think you had, like, Bride of Dracula and Son of Dracula and all kinds of
within
other
the same
Draculas.
MonsterVerse, though?
I think so.
Okay.
I'd have to look, but...
Yeah. And, of course, Wolfman, The Invisible Man.
The Mummy.
The Mummy. Oh, God, that's...
Yeah. And then after... This was the only, like, direct sequel, and then after that it became, like, Frankenstein's The Cameo Appearance.
Yeah. Showing up now and then.
Right.
Some interesting pop culture around the movie and the book. The monster is not named Frankenstein, as you guys know. Frankenstein is the scientist's name. The creature, he's never given a name.
Yeah, he's just the monster.
He's just the monster, yeah. The iconic image, the green skin, the flat head, the bolts in the neck. Like what Taylor had mentioned, it comes to the Universal 1931 film, starring Boris Karloff. None of pretty much what was in the novel is what we know as Frankenstein today. The novel was the original creation, but of course, when Hollywood gets involved, that kind of just took over.
Yeah.
And
you also got to condense a movie down into 60 minutes.
Yeah,
60 or 70 minutes.
The movie version changed much of the story of the cemented Frankenstein's image in pop culture. So we wouldn't have Frankenberry.
You wouldn't have Young Frankenstein. You wouldn't have the Muppet. Or no, I don't think the Muppets did Frankenstein.
No. You wouldn't have the Munsters.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have... Does he show up in Wednesday? Well, I guess the butler's kind of like Frankenstein-ish.
A little bit.
Like the tall... I forget his name.
Fester? No,
that's the uncle.
Yeah.
That's...
Cousin...
The chauffeur.
I
The
don't fucking remember.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Lurch, that's what it is. You wouldn't have...
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, all you Addams Family people out there that were just screaming at the...
Yeah. It's cursing us out right now. You mother... Okay, they got it right.
An interesting side note on the movies was that the director, James Whale, was an openly gay man back in the 30s. So openly gay, everybody knew about it. So there is a lot of modern reflection that these movies were a little bit of gay interpretation on his part about the acceptance and lack thereof of
the loneliness and the isolation.
Yep.
But, that checks out. Yeah.
So just a little side note there for you.
And of course, to talk about the themes and symbolism, Taylor kind of touched on these a little bit. But of course, common themes both in the book and in the film. We have man versus God, the dangers of playing God, and overstepping human limits, such as creating monsters from scratch, reanimating the dead. Isolation and rejection, both Victor and the creature suffer extreme loneliness, and it's like a reoccurring theme. Of course, this could have been spawned from Mary Shelley's actual experiences of grief and loss, with the crazy and tumultuous upbringing and life that she had, surrounded by such death. Science Without Ethics, it's a great one here. A warning about the unchecked ambition and the moral responsibilities of creation. I think this kind of goes back to what we were talking about Prometheus, where Zeus was very vocal. No, don't give the humans fire. No, don't, but then Prometheus, of course, goes behind Zeus's back, does it anyways. And in Zeus's eyes kind of causes like a lot of shit because he really wanted to keep humans like domesticated essentially. Which kind of ties into the whole Christianity thing as well, with Adam and Eve and the apple. You can do whatever you want. Just don't eat any apples from that tree. Well, it actually was never really considered an apple. It was just a fruit, and we interpret it as an apple. But and then, of course... He
turns around, and 30 seconds later, there they are, snacking on some apple wedges.
But, of course, you could constitute Prometheus to... or Prometheus equates to the serpent. Gives him the apple. In some cases, Satan or whatever. Gives him the apple and like, hey, no, you should bite this because there's a whole world of things out there that you can enjoy, like Pop-Tarts. What else?
Internet porn.
And taxes. Oh, you're going to love that.
You can have a Pop-Tart and beat your meat at the same time. Nobody's going to stop you.
Well, doing your taxes. What a time to be alive. What are you guys doing next week?
They'll invent a thing called the Walmart.
Has everything you need all in one shop. All in one go. And of course, the biggest one, nature versus nurture. The creature starts innocent but becomes monstrous through rejection and cruelty. Yeah, if you've seen the movie.
We already covered that a little bit here.
Yeah, as I'm saying, it was just like I guess it depends on what version you kind of look at. But.
Right, novel version, I would say it's nature because he's not really being nurtured by anybody. He just kind of goes through his life.
He kind of learns as he goes, kind of thing, and then.
So it's kind of his nature to be what he is, and then like he delights when he has his first kill. He's like, "Oh yes, I can do this too." Whereas the movies, it's definitely a nurture situation. He was created with a childlike innocence, like you were saying, and then was tormented and beaten and all kinds of stuff to turn him into a more violent creature.
About some fun and spooky facts.
You always know I love me some fun and spooky facts.
Some believe Frankenstein's castle in Germany inspired the setting. You can actually explore real castles or labs rumored to have inspired Shelley. Wouldn't that be some shit? Like go to some castle in like Germany. Frankenstein Monster has appeared alongside Dracula, Wolfman, and the Mummy in the Universal Classics.
The OG cinematic universe.
So he just makes cameos, I guess.
And, he's kind of like it's Wolfman meets Frankenstein, and Frankenstein's kind of the co-lead. He never really is the full lead again, really. But yeah, then it's just at one point I think he just kind of devolves into like a straight up cameos, like he just appears for a little bit.
Yeah, but I think all of them together is called the Monsterverse, right?
Something like that. I just call them the Universal Monsters.
Yeah,
it's all connected. Like Dracula meets Frankenstein, and all that good stuff.
Do they like fight in the movie? Or do they like murder people together? Do they go out for coffee?
There's just a couple bros hanging out, man.
Yeah, like I want that whole movie just to be them like sitting in the back of a Chevy, just drinking brewskis.
And just pondering the undead, the unafterlife.
Yeah, answering the big questions. And of course, there's even a Frankenstein Day celebrated on August 30th, which is Mary Shelley's birthday.
Any other spooky facts? Anything else you want to... Like you mentioned, Frankenberry came out in 1971. The mascot of the General Mills cereal company of the same name is a friendly parody of the monster. Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder comedy Young Frankenstein came out in 1974. It borrowed heavily from the first three Universal Frankenstein's films. I've actually never seen that. I've heard that's very good, but I've never seen it. Abbott and Costello met Frankenstein. Rocky Horror Picture Show is pretty much a Frankenstein retelling. Dr. Frankenfurter reanimates a body.
Okay.
He finds this creature has heterosexual lusts.
It's like, man, this guy's so horny all the time. I remember last week we talked about how Dracula, because of the copyright issues, like there have been so many adaptations of Dracula. I don't think that's the same with Frankenstein. Like there have been a crap ton of adaptations and like other spin-offs of it, but I don't think it's been as many as what Dracula has been.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like Dracula, would we say it was like 700?
At a minimum, is what we...
I mean, indirectly, there probably has been 700 spinoffs, but like nothing directly recreating what was already done.
Yeah.
So, there's only so many times you can tell that story.
Sure.
Like Dracula, I guess, can be told many different ways, apparently.
Yeah. It's like, no, this version of Dracula has a Sanchez mustache. Okay.
And he can float through walls.
Okay.
This one has a full beard, and he can't float through walls.
You get my drift here, man? Like, this is an untold Dracula story.
I'm so on board with this right now.
All right, produce it. Let's go.
But yeah, I mean, Frankenstein's been pretty much a pop culture icon / staple in the horror, sci-fi, fantasy genre since the 1930s. I mean, it's literally the incarnations and recreations and spin-offs of him have not stopped since the 30s.
Didn't you say there's a new movie coming out, right, by Guillermo del Toro?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'll be good.
I can't wait. I'm excited to see. I wonder if they're going to be more leaning into the book or if they're going to just do their own thing.
I don't know. His stories can be pretty unhinged. So, but he tries to stick to the original content, which is cool because it'll be really dark. And that's Guillermo del Toro is like amazing storyteller.
There was a movie in the 90s called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I haven't really looked into that one, but I wonder if that's a more accurate story to the book. I'm sure that it is. If you're going to call it Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't bring this up in season 5 episode of The X-Files, titled The Postmodern Prometheus. They retell the Frankenstein legend using genetic engineered technology.
I don't remember that episode.
It was filmed exclusively in black and white.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I do remember that now. It was pretty cool. That, and then there was an episode of Supernatural where it was kind of like lightly Frankenstein-ish. There was a murderer that they're like hunting down this monster, and it was this dude that was essentially he was like hundreds of years old because it was like alchemy. He had this like book, and he was basically murdering people, taking their organs and like revamping his body. And that's why he was able to stay alive for so long.
Yeah.
So kind of Frankensteinish a little bit, but yeah, like when they find him, he's like just all scarred up and, like different body parts and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
And how could we forget the SpongeBob episode Frankendoodle?
Oh, yeah.
Where he creates life and then that life tries to destroy him by erasing him. Such a good episode. Fucking episode.
How did he kill him? Didn't he erase him?
He erased him, but then like the arm, like I think there was something still left over.
Is that what it was?
Oh, no. He closed the book on him. Like you turned him back into a drawing.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, he erases him. The hand's still alive.
Yeah, and redraws
himself, and then the book. Yeah. Like, good stuff.
Adventures of Jimmy Neutron. Remember the episode, The Neutronic Monster Maker? It turns Hugh into a Frankenstein's monster for a little while.
Yeah.
But I mean, just going through the pop culture list, I mean, Frankenstein has been referenced in just about everything.
It's endless. Yeah.
Just like Dracula, I don't think Frankenstein's going anywhere in our pop culture zeitgeist anytime soon.
No, he's here to stay.
He's going to live on forever.
Hell yeah. I'm down for that. It's already been 200 years.
Yeah. A blip in the timeline, but
200 years.
200 more years. We're still going to be talking about Frankenstein things with probably an actual Frankenstein monster at some point, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Well, science will science its way.
Right. Somebody will create a Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, it'll be a thing. It'll be cool. Yay, science. Yay, Mr. White.
Before we sign off, we're gonna do a little thought-provoking exercise here.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
We're gonna create a Frankenstein's monster.
Okay.
We're gonna pick a head.
All right.
A torso.
Okay.
Legs.
All right.
Arms.
Okay.
And some genitalia.
Sure. All right.
Who's the head of your Frankenstein monster?
I'm going to go with...
And keep in mind, we can either go one of two ways with this. We can either make a handsome, beautiful thing, a devious, dastardly creation that no human should ever see, or a mix between the two, as a Frankenstein monster was intended.
Mine's going to be an abomination. Okay. So it's going to be Mr. Crab's head.
Okay, all right.
I
didn't know we were going to do fictional stuff, but okay.
Oh, do you want to do
No, that's perfect. I love it.
For the torso, so Mr. Crab's head, torso is going to be the Iron Giant.
Okay.
Like a miniature version. No, fine. We'll do C-3PO.
Okay.
Okay. So the head of Mr. Krabs, C-3PO.
Right, there he is.
Boy. Genitalia. I'm thinking Ron Jeremy.
Jesus.
or Johnny Sins. Straight up, yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Just straight up grandfather clocking it.
Just straight grandfather clocking it. Arms. I'm gonna go with Arnold Schwarzenegger's arms.
All right.
But like one arm is Arnold Schwarzenegger's arm.
Okay.
The other arm, I'm gonna go with Mr. Rogers.
Okay. Now, fictional Mr. Rogers, or like where his arm was totally tatted up. Like
I'm talking Navy SEAL retiree Mr. Rogers.
Notches on every kill he ever had.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess for legs, I'm gonna do Chun-Li's legs off Street Fighter.
Yeah, sick reference.
Yeah,
sick reference.
Yeah. Did all the body parts?
Yeah, I think you got to have. Whose ass is gonna be on this thing?
Oh,
get an ass on here?
Yeah, who's gonna be?
And a voice.
I kind of feel like if Chun-Li's legs are, then it would be like Chun-Li as well. But let's do Miley Cyrus, that weird when she was on stage and
that insane coke bender.
Yeah, like the pancake butt thing that was going on. Like I'm sure you guys remember that. Yeah, it'll be like that.
Yeah,
which would be awful.
That would be awful.
Be terrible. You said a voice.
Yeah.
You know that meme that black guy you send me sometimes. That like laughs like cornbread. Oh, yeah. That guy's voice. I don't know what his name is.
Damn.
God damn. Like, yeah, it'd be that guy. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's fucking horrifying.
That would be horrifying.
Like imagine like knock on your door and like you and that thing is just staring at you. Like you'd be screaming too. Like nope, we can close that door real fucking quick.
I don't know what would throw me off faster, the Mr. Krabs head or the Ron Jeremy dong.
The Chun-Li legs or the black man's voice complimenting the cornbread in the background. Like yeah. All right, what about you?
I'm gonna make a beautiful one.
Okay.
So it's gonna have Henry Cavill's head.
Oh, nice.
Henry Cavill's body. Henry Cavill's arms. Henry Cavill's legs. Henry Cavill's dick.
But he's gonna have the voice. He's gonna have the voice of who?
I'll give him Troy Baker's voice.
What was his name? Roger Godfrey?
Oh, Gilbert Godfrey.
Gilbert Godfrey, yeah. That guy, Gilbert Godfrey's voice.
Give me we should do a stark contrasting one, just as a intended Frankenstein's monster.
Okay.
So the head of Henry Cavill, the body of Jabba the Hutt.
Oh wow.
The arms of who was the really big black dude bodybuilder? That would he was like a linebacker dude, like Kimbo Slice.
Not Kimbo Slice.
That's who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of him.
Terry Tate.
Okay.
I'm thinking of
Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo Slice. Yeah. Okay.
Give me Kimbo Slice's arms.
Okay.
Who has some really skinny chicken legs? I feel like some skinny chicken legs on a Jabba the Hutt body would be perfect for this.
Just think of like a generic bodybuilder who like hates leg day.
Who has never seen who's never done a leg press in his life.
I'm talking about the people who intentionally go out of their way to I hate leg day. I never work out my legs. Yeah, like one of those guys.
Just Robert Downey Jr.'s legs or some shit. Like when he comes back to Earth from Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, and he's like all like just dystrophy. Yeah.
Yeah. And the voice of James Earl Jones.
Oh, come on, don't do that.
It's a beautiful voice.
It is. It really is. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, what about a dong?
Oh man. Should it be a micro dong?
I would say definitely micro penis.
A micro dong, like Hangover. Who's the guy? He had like the micro dick, and like the little like mouse was flicking it or some shit.
In the Hangover
2, I think.
I don't fucking remember that
Hangover
at all.
2 or 3, yeah. It was the Asian guy. It's like the Asian guy in everything.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
His name.
It was him.
Allegedly, like I don't think it was his real penis, but
okay, well, yeah,
it was his character. Imagine, oh man, that would suck having a micro dong in that Jabba the Hutt body.
That'd be awful.
That would be awful. That's a true Frankenstein's monster. But thank you, Frankenstein Monster listeners, for listening to this Frankenstein of an episode.
Let us know about your interpretation of a Frankenstein monster. Send us an email. How would you set up your Frankenstein monster? What would it be like? What
whose dong would it have?
Or maybe it doesn't have anything. Or 3 dicks. I don't know. We'll see. Each one's smaller than the last.
Yeah, send us in your suggestions for what our Frankenstein monster needs or what you would create yourself. Don't forget that on Saturday, October 25th, if you're listening to this episode as it comes out, we are going to be out at the Cushwa Brewery for the Cryptid Halloween celebration. So come on up and say hi to us. We're going to be there at least for some point during the day. I don't know what time we're going to get there or how long we might be there, but if you see us, we'll be hanging around, drinking some beers, talking cryptids, talking all things spooky like we normally do. If you could leave us a good review or a comment or anything on whatever platform you're listening to, that would be greatly appreciated. Boosts us in the algorithms, keeps us at the top of the feeds. You can follow us on Spotify so that way you get a notification when our new episodes drop. I assume that's a feature for most listening platforms. If you subscribe to our channel or subscribe to our podcast on whatever you're listening to, you'll always be updated when our episodes drop every week. Until next time, we'll talk to you then when we talk about all things spooky.